this week, Highland Fling. Tim is in stunning Scotland, stalking stags and avoiding midges. We have more dirty secrets. We're reading and running on mud. There's a competition. Win gaiters. Rawr. No, not that kind. Welcome to Field Sports Britain. Stunning Scotland, the place to be if you crave solitude and to experience some of our last true wilderness.
Welcome to Scotland. Very, very warm day. I think it's about 16 to 18 degrees at the moment. Quite unusual for Scotland, but these are the conditions sometimes you have to do when you go stalking. One of the problems we've got today are the midges. There's no wind, no wind at all. So the midges are very static and they just chase us up and down the hill. There's a Monro to our right up there, which is our marker, and to the left there's a plateau. So we're going to put some hard work in, get over the top, lay out for a while, subject to the flies not eating us alive, and spend a long time glassing the other side of the slope and also the other side of the hill up there, going up towards the other Monro. It's going to be a tough day today. It's very, very warm. We've got plenty of juice with us. And I just hope my cameraman can keep up with me because we're going to cover a lot of ground.
On this trip, Tim has been given permission to stalk red stags unguided on this small estate in northwest Sutherland. It's not typical, but he's been told what animals he can take and where he needs to end up and at what time.
Been playing with a bit of technology today. I borrowed my wife's fitness monitor thingy which goes around my wrist. Just a matter of interest to see what's occurring. I think we've been walking for about 2 hours now, and I've been sitting for about 5 minutes, so my heart rate's quite low. But it's telling me that I've burnt 1,500 calories, so that's quite a bit. Your body's only got probably 2,000 calories actually in it before you start depleting your reserves, and so you've got to keep topping it up all the time. So if you're bike riding, you top up after the first hour, every half an hour to keep your energy going. We've burnt about 1,500 calories so far in 2 hours, and we've got a long way to go yet, so it's quite important to keep on topping up. I haven't got many clothes on, just got a shirt on. If it's colder, I'll be wearing a thicker jacket, I'll start sweating up as well, so it's just layering, just take off your, if I'm hot now, I've only got the shirt. As it gets colder, I keep another layer on, like an onion. You keep on taking layers off all the time. It's simple stuff really. We've got another 4 or 5 hours walking today, and David's looking at me going, really? So it could be quite fun. So let's just keep the fluids going, and we'll just crack on and see if we can find some red deer on this beautiful piece of the Scottish Highlands. There's some deer right up on that horizon up there. I've been watching them for quite some time, and you just see these rocks. Suddenly they start to move, and you can just see them, they're just silhouetted right on that horizon. Rightly or wrongly, we've decided to just head straight up. It looks a pretty steep slope. It's not too much scree, so it shouldn't be too hard underfoot. So we just got to go for it and see. If it's too dangerous, we'll bail out. But it's a bit of a challenge, a bit of a venture, but we have a damn good go. So let's get on. Okay, we've got a slight problem. They're 650 metres away. The wind's right up our backsides. And I think they may have clocked us or they may have smelt us. There's 4 of them, nice looking stags, looking straight at us at the moment. So we just got to just sit down for a while. I think we just need to move around, upwind of them a wee bit, so we can be fairly careful. But there's 4 of them looking straight at us. They've all got some really nice heads on them as well, so they're reasonably mature red stags. So and what I'm doing at the moment is actually having a good look at them and just try and pick which one I like to cull. I think the one on the right at the moment looks like its head's not quite right. So as we go around and keep looking at them, I'll be keeping inspecting them to make sure that I actually pick the right beast. There may be a chance I may say actually they're too good to take out, but that's all part of the stalking stags really. So anyway, we better move on because we've been eaten alive by these blinking midges. So let's crack on. I don't know what we do here. We're really caught now because they've got that higher position. They haven't seen us yet, but we're on the side of the hill. There's a hell of a job to get onto them. So I'm just waiting. They seem to be moving up the slope a wee bit. What I'm trying to do is let them just go further up over the top, and then we can just kind of go straight to them. I think that's probably the best way. There's no wind at all. But it's got to be a wee bit careful that there's no other stags sitting down near them. So we'll just have to just keep a very, very tight eye on things. Because one more's got to move. There he is. And that's a hind, I think it is. So I think we're about to move. The problem I've got is they're on the horizon. I want to save shots, I want them to come towards me so I can shoot into the hill. That's the plan anyway. So, they're all looking down. That's a really tough day's stalking. Long day, very, very warm, and the flies are so frustrating. So it's just one thing to have to cope with in Scotland when there's no wind. If there's a bit of wind, the flies tend to go. Walking across the shoulder of this hill here, and we saw quite a few stags. But the problem is they're just on the brow, and I couldn't get a safe shot. So I was waiting, and they were starting to move around. But fortunately, it dropped down a wee bit, so I had a bit of backstop, which is really, really good. And we got this youngster. You know, it's a pure Scottish wild stag. You know, it is about as organic as you can get. You know, wow, that's cold. You've got to make the most of it and come up here and experience it, because the people are lovely, the country's lovely, and the Scotch tonight will be lovely as well. So, great day. Very, very pleased.
Thank you, Tim. Quite a workout. And if you want to see Tim's film from Croatia, click on the link on the screen. Now, in Croatia, Tim was using a rifle rucksack that many of you admired, so we offered one as a competition prize. And I've put all the entries onto my phone in a slightly techie way. I'm going to choose a winner by rubbing you up and down like that. Does that feel good? Yeah? And the winner is Pete Mack. Pete Mack entered on YouTube. He says, ooh, yeah, what an awesome rifle pack. Exactly what I need for some great Aussie hunting. I really, look, there's loads of reallys there. Really, yeah, we get to the end. Lots of reallys, blimey. Want one badly in capital letters. Well, Pete Mack, one is coming to you from Denmark to Australia right away. And we have another competition. You may have noticed Tim's gaiters, the one he's wearing in Scotland there. Hunter Pro X by Harkila, priced at €99.95. Link appearing on the screen. Wow, hot leggings. It's easy to enter. All you have to do is leave a comment below this film saying how much you like them, or go to our Facebook page and leave a comment below the link to this film there. Usual rules, we'll do the draw in a couple of weeks' time. Entries close midnight UK time on Sunday, the 4th of October 2015. Good luck! Now, from Newgaters to an old croc, it's David on the Field Sports Channel News Stump.
This is Field Sports Channel News. Who is going to take over the CLA Game Fair? With organisers looking for new partners for the 2016 show at Ragley Hall, there are a number of names in the running. Charlie Jacobi has this special report.
So which way for the CLA? Blaze Publishing owns magazines including Sporting Rifle and Gun Trade News. Boss Wesley Stanton has thrown his hat into the CLA ring.
I think I'd like to run a shooting show of some sort if the opportunity presented itself. We are in talks with the CLA, but I've got to look at the opportunity because they put a huge amount of time and effort into that show. It hasn't made money for 3 years, but historically it has been very profitable. I'm not sure whether it's mismanagement or whether it is simply a change in market dynamics, but what I would like to do is look at it to see whether it's viable.
The Game and Wildlife Conservation Trust, which runs the popular Scone Game Fair in Scotland, says it is in active talks with the CLA.
CLA have been, open and honest about what their issues are. We know that from their books in 2014 that whilst they had an income of 3.9 million, they also were running costs of 4.3 million. So clearly that's a model which is unsustainable.
The obvious choice for the 150,000 visitor event is Countryman Fairs. It runs the Midland Game Fair, which attracts nearly 100,000 visitors. Ian Harford, who runs that, and Team Wild plans an entirely new event to replace the CLA. He gave us this.
Whilst it's hugely disappointing to have lost what is undoubtedly a national institution and such an important part of the countryside calendar, to us it hasn't really come as any surprise. Since the announcement, our office has been inundated with inquiries and we've begun the consultation process with the UK Gun Trade, the Gun Trade Association and other representative bodies about what they would like to see at a showpiece event to replace the CLA Game Fair. Shooting, hunting, fishing, falconry, gun dogs, gamekeeping and estate management, and of course country lifestyle all form a core focus of any flagship event, but it must be affordable to people who live in the countryside. But it also has to have that sense of occasion, that feeling of community that the CLA Game Fair seems to have lost in recent years. We feel the time is right to launch an event that is more representative of field sports and accessible for people who aspire to a country way of life. We're already in discussion with a number of high-profile venues about hosting the event and should be in a position to launch our event concept sometime in the next 3 weeks.
The organisers of the British Shooting Show are non-committal.
We've all sort of grown up with the CLA. I think it is a great shame. It's a coined phrase. Yes, I would possibly look at it, but really nothing at this stage, nothing more to add to that, to be honest.
We did not talk to events companies outside the shooting sector. Other shooting and hunting organisations are keeping a watching brief. Basque Chief Executive Richard Alley says that he is currently considering what the CLA's announcement means for showcasing field sports to a wide audience. Countryside Alliance Chief Executive Tim Bonner rules out his organisation as a game fair organiser.
Yeah, we think it's a great event and we're very sad for it not to be held. We do politics, we do PR. Putting on a show for 150,000 people probably isn't in our skill set at the moment.
We will keep you in touch with any new developments. Back to David.
Thank you, Charlie. Now, in other news, David Cameron apparently saved a friend from prosecution under the Hunting Act. According to the autobiography of the British Prime Minister's former friend, Lord Ashcroft, he wrote a letter to the Attorney General on behalf of Heathrow huntsman Julian Barnfield in 2008, allegedly questioning whether prosecuting him was really a productive use of police time. The case was later dropped on a technicality. Attempts by the RSPB and Chris Packham to blame gamekeepers for the loss of the hen harrier have hit a bump. Government figures say that keepered grouse moors saw more hen harriers fledge than unkeepered land this year. Of the 6 hen harriers that fledged in England, 4 were under the care of gamekeepers. It's bad news for Cecil the lion shooter Walter Palmer from Minnesota. Zimbabwe is cracking down on big game crime. The latest sentence in a run of heavy tariffs has seen an elephant poacher sent to jail for 16.5 years. And finally, a bicycle collective in the USA has gone hunting. 17 members of Off the Chain joined together for a bicycle caribou hunt under an Alaska Department of Fish and Game Community Subsistence Harvest Permit, which requires them to distribute all caribou meat they shoot among all of the hunters in the group. The cyclists say they follow a punk rock philosophy about autonomy and independence from mainstream society. You are now up to date with Field Sports Channel News. Stalking the stories, fishing for facts.
David, next up, what have you lot been up to? It is Hello Charlie.
Hello Charlie, my name's Ellie and my daddy's been shooting geese and he's had a left and a right.
Hello Charlie, in Wiltshire. Just doing a bit of decoying with the Armson over some cut barley.
Hi Charlie, Dean in Essex here, just out at my goshawk. Just caught our first rabbit of this year. Really chuffed. Love the show, keep up the good work.
Hello Charlie, it's Will and Marcus here in Sussex, out pigeon shooting, shot a few crows. Love the show, keep it up.
Hiya Charlie, hitting the pigeons again this morning. We have PCP powered air rifle, BSA Super 10 this time. Got about 20 birds this morning, so not as good as the last time, but still a good morning. All the best to you, hey.
Hello Charlie, Tom Manning here from Wavenbury. Having a day on the crows, all good.
Hello Charlie, not so anonymous. Slow Gin Drinkers here. Getting ready for a blind test. You may participate in your own way. Which one of the 4 containers in front of you do you think is the homemade Slow Gin?
That's it. Please send me your Hello Charlies via Facebook, YouTube, Dropbox or email charlie@fieldsportschannel.tv. Thank you for those. Please keep them coming. And I have a little shout out of my own to do quickly to the nice lady behind the counter at Waitrose in Charnock Richard Service Station M6 northbound who sold me my dinner last week. Hello to you. Now, a couple of weeks ago we launched our new wildfowling series. Today Nick Horton walks us through the art of mud walking. Mud, glorious mud, and unless you're a wildfowler with webbed feet, quiet in the cheap seats, it can be the treacherous barrier between you and your birds. But where there's a wildfowler, there's a way. In fact, there's been a way for years. These are images from a book published in 1830, and the ones Nick makes look exactly the same.
Mud walking, it's as old as the hills. It's something that people have been doing in this particular neck of the woods because, as you see, there's an awful lot of mud. As far as I can research back, certainly as far as the 1600s, and because it's not rocket science, then probably for millennia before that. The thing, if you like, that I'm quite proud of having salvaged from the dustbin of history is the actual method of tying the mud patterns on. Again, it really isn't rocket science, but if you look through the literature of wildfowling, which is particularly rich, and a number of celebrated authors cover mud patterns, it's quite obvious that when you do understand how they work and how to tie them on, it's very obvious that those people didn't. They were aware of the broad concept of how mud patterns work, but they probably never used them themselves. Standard working mud pattern, roughly 12-inch square. None of the dimensions are intrinsically important, but it's got a batten on either side and a batten in the middle, if you can imagine turning it over to stop it slipping and sliding sideways. You've got these 2 loops, which is what the rope is secured to, and the ropes themselves are fastened underneath with a figure of 8 or stopper knot. If ever you make yourself a pair of mud patterns, for goodness sake, avoid using a simple overhand knot. It must be this particular knot so that it doesn't pull through, because when you put the mud patterns on your feet and you tighten the rope up, the stresses that you are imparting to this to the rope are significant, and you need to make sure that you've used the correct knot, otherwise it will simply pull through.
To see the benefits of the mud pattern plate, we're asking Nick to race Matt, who is half his age, across the mudflats. It's not deep here, but it will slow you down.
I've got a pretty strong idea that he's going to be floundering along, getting seriously overheated and plastered in mud long before I do.
The sun's up to the middle of the sky and I'm wearing 5mm neoprene waders with a boot that's as hot as, I don't know, the deepest, darkest depths of hell it feels like at the minute, so it's going to be good fun. It's going to be good fun. Ready, steady, go!
Nick, the human mud skipper, cruises effortlessly across this tricky environment.
But I think if nothing else, you can see that whilst Matt is young and fit and was making steady progress, as I said before, I'm 61 and old and decrepit, and I was not literally walking rings round him, but I've come ashore feeling as fit as a fiddle.
Just like Inuits have hundreds of words for snow, wildfowlers have 2 for mud, maybe 4, and they know what to avoid.
When I look at mud, the way I see it is green is good and brown is down, and that's kind of a great stick to work to, I think. Why is that? Because if brown is down, you end up stuck. So, yeah, that's why.
We were hoping for something a little more in depth. Come on, Nick.
That was rubbish. Can I have a better one, please?
Yeah, I suppose the technical answer to that is that the green weeds that you can see behind us, either the entomorpha, the slobweed, which is the stuff that we've been walking on, or further out the widgeon grass, the zostra, it likes mud of a particular consistency to grow in. If it's too slack, it gets washed away. So the brown areas with no weed on them are almost invariably loose, and you've got that visual clue to avoid it if it's humanly possible.
A few dirty secrets there. Brown is down for one. Kids, do try this at home, but not out in an estuary unless you're with someone experienced. If you fancy buying a set of mud patterns, drop Nick a line. He only makes a few a year, so be quick. mudpattern@gmail.com. Thank you, Nick and Matt. You certainly keep fit on Field Sports Channel this week. Now, from workouts on mud and on mountain to the wider world of hunting and shooting on YouTube, it is Hunting YouTube. This is Hunting YouTube, which aims to show the best hunting and shooting videos that YouTube has to offer. It's that time of the year again. Every year, Jose Gatica from Chile uploads highlights of his hare coursing season in Linares province, and this is episode 8. More hounds, but this time from North America. There's a zen or a tao about this film of beagles running after a rabbit to the Johnny Cash song Break My Rusty Cage and Run. If you like dog work and country music, this is the film for you. Viewer Howard Halliday sends in his film of rabbit hunting in the South Island of New Zealand. Another wonderful rabbit hunt is exactly that, with a flying violin track to keep that spaniel bouncing along. In the USA, Huntin' Grounds is making the jump from ordinary TV to YouTube, so good on them. Arkansas Dove Hunt has them out on new food plots and their own new property. I can't resist a video from Hunter's Video, even if it is a trailer. This is Driven Hunts 1, a bit of a retread of old footage if I'm not mistaken, but they are the ones who have the footage. Viewer Reggie Buffett is impressed with this film about stalking red deer during the rut. In Reggie's words, a wonderful 15-minute delicacy of stalking for red deer. Up Yorkshire, where Jonathan McGee has done the second in his Passion 4 series. First one was deer, this is pheasant shooting in Wharfdale. And finally, AJ Plus is one of the new breed of YouTube news channels, and in this film they tackle wolf hunting in Siberia. They are out for the Evenki people, who now get a government bounty on wolves they shoot in order to save their reindeer. That's it for this week. If you have a YouTube film you would like us to pop into the weekly top 8, send it in via YouTube or email me the link, charlie@fieldsportschannel.tv. Well, if you don't like those, how about this? Schools Challenge this week takes a look at the school that has just spent more than £70,000 installing a new playground. It is Schools Challenge regular Breedon School in Gloucestershire. What do the kids get out of shooting? And is shooting good for them? Well, you know what I mean. Click on the link on the screen for more. We are back next week. If you haven't done so already, please click to subscribe. Please go to our website, fieldsportschannel.tv, where you can click to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, or all sorts of social media icons, and you can pop your email address into our constant contact box, and we'll constantly contact you about this programme at 7 p.m. UK time every Wednesday. This has been Field Sports Britain. Good hunting, good shooting, good fishing, and goodbye.